Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this new edition of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. And we will start off with our major top stories and reports. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that Egypt is ready to transfer its expertise to African countries to help them and encourage others to support them. More details.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that Egypt is ready to transfer its expertise to African countries to help them and encourage others to support them. He said Egypt is focusing on pushing forward three main sectors in the coming period, namely technology-intensive industries, agriculture, and communications and information technology. He stressed that the country is exerting strenuous efforts to realize more progress in these sectors in the coming period. Meanwhile, the president called for shrinking imports by encouraging the private sector to produce imported products. The Sisi noted that Egypt started working on developing communications and information technology almost 3 years ago and managed to jump from 40th position to 3rd at the African level in terms of internet speed. He also referred to upgrading the infrastructure of universities and schools to launch the e-learning system. As for agriculture, he said up to 3 million fiddens will be valid for cultivation within 2 years maximum, but we need the support of international organizations. Furthermore, Sisi shed light on the project of cleaning up lakes and its huge cost, adding that the achievements realized serve the environment and economy. Speaking about the infrastructure in Africa, Sisi said that if electricity was provided, people would not burn trees or remove forests, and there will be improvements in the climate. On providing coronavirus vaccines, the president said that Egypt is working on producing 2 vaccines, adding that there is also a private sector company working on producing vaccines in Egypt.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're glad to be joined over the phone by Dr. Ashraf Singer. He is a professor of international relations. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Ashraf, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that Egypt is ready to transfer its expertise to African countries to help them and encourage them to support the different African states. How do you see this, sir?
This is a very crucial step from President Sisi to link African countries with Egypt. Egypt as a major power in Africa, welcoming all African countries to give them the all aid and assistance and send the Egyptian expertise in different areas, starting from agriculture to industry to high tech. And I think this is the major transformations and one of the great steps that we can really build a bilateral relationship with the African countries in terms of economics, trade, exchange informations, and this is very important for Egypt's economy and improving the Egypt's economic growth. And this is one of the major results from the Egyptian forum we're held in Sharm el-Sheikh, the forum of the world youth in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes, sir. To what extent does Egypt provide the necessary support to its African brotherly nations?
Based on the experience that Egypt really exercised, its role and its objectives since President Sisi was the African Union, change measures, steps in terms of reaching out some of the major projects that can really help Kenya, Tanzania, in terms of the building, like dams over there, send, the Egyptian expertise in different areas in Africa to improve the railways, health care. And I think this is one of the greatest vision by President Sisi to reach out and build a strong relationship with African countries. This is our area where the Egyptian and Africans as a brothers, they need really to resolve their problems and improve the economics ties. And I think we are doing very good based on our tools, and major tools is culture tools and peace, where Egypt really like to resolve all their problems through negotiations, like the Renaissance Dam. And in future, we need the backup from African countries really convince Ethiopia to adopt what is the right for Ethiopia, what is the right for Egypt.
Sir, Egypt aims to develop rapid plans to increase intra-regional trade and benefit from Africa's resources to reach sustainable development for all African countries. What's your take on that?
This is a major challenge for the United Nations based on their reports that ask all African leaders that can really fight corruption and bring all African countries really build a bilateral relationship in terms of trade and improve the volume of trade over time. This is a major challenge that the UN really supporting the African countries, because we have a very clear theory. There is a relationship between trade and conflict. As long as you are increasing trade, you're going to reduce conflict over time. So Africa really, then most of their countries, they didn't really reach that level that we can really have a very strong integration in terms of trade and supporting each other. This is one of the major challenges that all African leaders really need to listen the Cairo talk and Cairo policy to bring all Africans really start to put some, I would say, constructive steps and procedures how to reach our goal and the major goals for African leaders that can really support prosperity for all African countries, that can really reduce the immigrants moving from Africa to Europe or outside their home, and this can really create a major challenge for their new places that can really move. And I think this is one of the major challenges that President Sisi really understood it clearly since he was really heading the African Union in the past.
Yes. Sir, how can the opening of more Egyptian banks in African countries contribute to increasing trade between Egypt and the rest of the African states?
Banking system in Egypt really achieving a very good, I would say, way to facilitating, the loans and improving, I would say, the banking system, and based on the transparency and the rules that Egypt government really insists about the banking system in Egypt. Based on that achievement, I think opening different branches in different countries in Africa, this is gonna to make Cairo the central of the financial transactions. That is what we need to support the small loans or big loans to invest in Africans and in different countries. Africa is a very open for different investments. That we need really to find like a step over there. And based on my best understanding that African countries now and the people of Africans really welcome the Egyptian role that can really lead based on their experience or what they really seeing that Cairo and President Sisi made a great achievement for the Egyptian people, for Egypt country, and they need really to adopt or taking like a copycat what Egypt really made, that we can really following Egypt model in terms of fighting poverty and increase the economic growth. And I think all of these things, they are in the back mind of all Africans, either leaders or people. And I think Egypt now much better in a very good state compared to the past.
Yes. Sir, President Sisi said Egypt is focusing on pushing forward three main sectors in the coming period, namely technology, intensive industries, agriculture, and communication and information technology. Do you agree that the country is exerting strenuous efforts to realize more progress in these sectors in the coming period?
I think based on different studies, what really the President Sisi or the government really picked all these sectors. This is really what Africa really needs at that time to integrate in global, economy. What I really think, the role of technology, we need it. Industry, this can really accelerate and bring all the people that can really open, like I would say, some doors that can really join the workforce in different countries based on that type of technologies or that type of business that we needed in Africa now more than before. I think I agree that this is the goal, and we need really to move from like a traditional economy to the advanced economy for the whole Africans, and we are very correct based on the data that's showing that all of these sectors are very, very growing all over the world, and Egypt and Africa and Egypt should be part of that progress to achieve a great deal for all people, improving their prosperity and enjoying, I say, stability in their home, and
right.
This is one of the great success from President Sisi and Egypt to reach out Africans programs.
Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Ashraf Singer, Professor of International Relations. Many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, now we go back to our special reports. President Sisi said that conflicts in African countries have to come to an end, adding that getting out of poverty in Africa is a hard quest, even in high risks in the continent. More details.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that conflicts in African countries have to come to an end, stressing that getting out of poverty in Africa is a hard quest given the high risks on the continent. As a result, insurance costs are high, hence only the rich get access to quality goods and services, while the poor keep suffering. That's not fair. All people have the right to dream. The president added that poverty causes countries and peoples to enter into mazes. Those are the mazes of destruction. Before the outbreak of COVID-19, the world was celebrating lifting 1 billion individuals out of poverty. That progress has been erased by the pandemic. The president said that developmental works carried out in Egypt since 2014 are worth £1.1 trillion and were implemented by 4,500 firms, mostly private. President Sisi also shed light on providing fully furnished alternative housing units to around 250,000 slum-dwelling families, almost 1 million individuals. For her part, UN resident coordinator in Egypt, Elena Panova, highlighted that poor people have been suffering the most during the pandemic. Deaths of low-income and middle-income countries recorded the highest levels in 50 years. That's why aids are being disbursed by the United Nations, but they are not enough to reduce the debt levels of those countries. Speaking of recovery, Panova said that countries have to work on 3 axes to attain that target. First, in transforming the way economies function by focusing on manufacturing and financial inclusion. Second is sustainability. And third is inclusiveness.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and moving on to Mali. West African leaders backed tough new sanctions on Mali, including border closures and a trade embargo, saying the military regime delay to a return to civilian rule were totally unacceptable. More details.
Tens of thousands have joined in a government-sponsored rally in Mali's capital to protest new regional economic sanctions and growing pressure from former colonizer France after Mali's military ruler pushed back promised elections by 4 years. Demonstrations at Bamako's Independence Square drew Mali's prime minister and other ministers in the transitional government, which is headed by Colonel Assimi Goïta, who installed himself as president following a second military coup last year. West Africa's 15-nation ECOWAS regional bloc imposed tougher sanctions on Mali last Sunday, saying the transitional government had failed to make progress towards holding a presidential election as promised by the end of February, 8 months after Mali's first coup led by Goïta. While previous sanctions have targeted members of the ruling junta and their families, the new measures effectively freeze the Republic of Mali's assets in commercial banks. Most ECOWAS members also have stopped all air traffic to and from Bamako, though Mali has found an ally in neighboring Guinea, also led by a military coup leader. Air France too has halted traffic to Bamako, and those who have opposed France's military rule in Mali over the past 9 years also accused the former regional colonial ruler of orchestrating some of the harsh ECOWAS response. France maintains strong economic and military ties with many of Mali's neighbors more than 60 years after colonial rule ended in West Africa.
And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.